welcome to the Know Thy Pastor segment with Pastor Rob Osborne here at Tree of Life Church, and we're here in the sanctuary at Tree of Life, right here up on the platform, and so we'll go ahead and get into the next set of questions. Asked, where have you traveled?
Well, I have not been, except for Canada, I've not been out of state. I have been to Niagara Falls when I was a little kid on the Canada side. And I have also been to Pelee Island, which is in the middle of Lake Erie, which is part of Canada. I have traveled. I have been in most of the southern states. I have been to Los Angeles several times, and a lot of places around Los Angeles. I have driven through Arizona. I have been to Las Vegas when I was a kid, teenager. I have been in Louisiana. I've been in I've been in some places that nobody even knows is in the United States. I've been through New Mexico. I've been through Arizona, like I said. I've been to other parts of Nevada, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, like I said. I'm trying to picture the map in my head. Of course, Florida. I've been all over Florida. I've been to parts close to Miami, the Tampa area. I've been in Jacksonville, Tallahassee. I've been in Gainesville, and all points in between. Lake City is where I worked when I lived there this last time. Largo, Clearwater, all that area. I've been to Daytona in Florida, but mostly was on the Gulf side where we lived. I've been in West Virginia. I still have family members that live in West Virginia on my dad's side. I've been to Georgia. I just tell you right now, and if there's anybody that gets to watch this that's in Atlanta, I'm going to apologize. I hate Atlanta. I hate driving through Atlanta. I hate flying into the Atlanta airport. It's just, one of those things. But I've been to Georgia. I'm sure I'm missing states that I've driven through. I've been to New York. When I was a senior in high school, we went to New York for our senior trip. Pennsylvania, of course. I've been from the eastern tip to literally the western tip. I've been in New Jersey. I've hit many of the states. I've never really been in a lot of the northern states. I did make a mistake and end up in Michigan for about 10 minutes when I was driving and got out of there really quick. I've never been to any of the Dakotas, never been to Vermont or Maine. I've heard they're beautiful. I've never been to Utah. I've never been to Washington or Oregon. I would love to be able to see some of the sites up there as well. I've never been to Mount Rushmore or anything like that. I have been to the Grand Canyon, like we discussed in an earlier segment. But I have told people, because not only have I moved around a lot as an adult, but we moved around a lot when we were kids. And I've told people that truthfully, that even though we didn't have money at all, we did things that a lot of people that have money never did and took for granted. We've seen things that people just take for granted, and that part of my life with the traveling as a kid and stuff was awesome to me. Just because we did things and we went and saw things. We even tried to find the Hollywood sign, and we all got car sick because the road was crazy. I mean, it was bad. It was horrible. But we swam in Lake Arrowhead as kids in California, which is a lake that's up in a mountain, and it's literally glacier water. It's probably some of the coldest water. Once you go in, you turn numb. I mean, it's bad. But they also have the best apple pies in the world there. When I tell people stories, I almost tell people the stories of my life like they've experienced it, but a lot of people not even ever really experienced it or even have taken it for granted. There's so much stuff out there that is just crazy. I never went to New Orleans, but I've been in Baton Rouge. for a little bit. Um, I've been to Texas several times. I've been into Houston several times. There's just great things to see. And the really cool thing is I have friends and acquaintances that live, and even family members that live all over the United States. And if I ever get the opportunity to travel, there's people that I could see where, when we go there. I look forward to be able to try to make it to some of the northern states. I'm not going to do it during winter, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not a winter fan, so it has to be during the springtime or summertime. And I'm almost tempted to go to Alaska. I don't know. And if I go to Hawaii, I probably never will come back. I'm just letting everybody know that, because that's, Hawaii is probably one of the places that I really want to go. Really want to go to Australia. I always have as a kid. And I really want to be able to go to Israel. It's a trip that I'm trying to figure out how to plan. I even asked my son if I get to go, if he would want to go with me. And that's a definite trip that I really want to make, is a trip to Israel. So.
Yeah. Of the different places you've been, besides Ohio, what would you say your favorite place was?
To live or to travel?
To live.
Southern California, I spent a lot of my youth in. But it's probably tied between Southern California and I lived in Florida 3 times. So probably Southern California and Florida were my favorite places to live. Some of the best food that I ever ate, food's important to me. Some of the best food I ever ate was when we were youth pastors in Louisiana, in Oak Grove, Louisiana, which nobody knows where Oak Grove is on the map, but it's really closer to things in Mississippi than what it is in Louisiana. I tell people all the time, Oak Grove is about an hour away from the guys from Duck Dynasty in Monroe. That's how I tell people where that was. But man, I'm telling you, they made some really good food, and then the church in Pennsylvania had some really good cooks too. And I was worried when I got here because I love food, but I have eaten some food from some of our cooks here in this church that is second to none too. So, but living wise, Southern California and Florida are probably my favorite places that we lived. One of the coolest places that we visited as a family, and I know this isn't going to sound cool coming from a pastor, but Las Vegas blew my mind as a teenager. And it was there's so many different hotels there now, but we went there when Excalibur was first built and opened, and it just blew my mind. I've heard stories, I've seen it on TV. It didn't do anything. And this was before what they got going on now and stuff like that, but it was just... It was unbelievable. I know why it's called Sin City, because there was a whole lot of that going on. But it was just it was unbelievable. And what was truly unbelievable to me was no matter what hotel casino we went into, there was always people blowing money on them stupid slot machines. Yeah. It's like they don't realize that you're really not going to win a whole lot of money on those things. It was just unbelievable how almost mind-numbing it actually was. Even as a kid who wasn't, I wasn't allowed to go on the gambling floor, but just how mind-numbing that place is for so many people. And there's really a beauty to it, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. Man, when we drove from our place in California, we went through nothing but desert, and then all of a sudden here's this town, and it's crazy. And it was mind-numbing, and it'll be something that I'll never forget. And of course, the trip into where we got to go see the Grand Canyon was really awesome. Just to see the beauty of the Grand Canyon, and then we pulled into the McDonald's that's up there, and their prices were crazy because it was the only restaurant there, and everybody that was up there at night ended up going to that McDonald's. But there's just stories upon stories of places that we've traveled and things that we've seen as kids and even as adults that is just it's unbelievable. It's crazy. I'm 42 years old, and I'm telling you, I've seen things that people twice my age hasn't even got to see. So,
and another question we had: some people in the congregation have noticed you have a tattoo. What's the tattoo of? And
I do have
what
others.
okay.
And they're all the ones that I have are all scriptural. I think the one that some people have seen the bottom of is the one that's on my right arm, and it is what's called a Huguenot cross. And without going into a ton of detail, my dad has been doing a lot of family research, and we have found out that through some part of our family, we are actually related to the Huguenots, which were French Protestant believers. And at the time that they were around, it was illegal to be anything really truthfully but other than Catholic. And they were persecuted. Many of them were put to death by being burned at the stake. And what I have tattooed on my arm is actually the medal that they handed the knights, the Huguenot knights. And everything on the tattoo and everything on the medal is actually biblically based. There's biblical meaning for everything. What people have seen is the dove, the Holy Ghost representation of the dove. But in the middle of the tattoo is a red dot, a red pearl, actually. And it represents the fire that they saw coming down, but also the fire that literally burned people for believing in and fighting for their faith. And on the top of it is one of my, of course, one of my life verses that we mentioned earlier in one of these segments, which is Revelation 12:11. They overcame them by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony. And it was the word of their testimony that was spreading the Protestant beliefs and stuff like that. I haven't done a ton of research. My dad has done a ton of research on it and found out that we were related to them in some way. And there's a real pretty castle there. I don't know if it belongs to the family that we're related to or somebody tied into that, but through his investigations and things that have been going on, it's really awesome. A lot of our family history has been lost on both of my sides, really, on my mother's side and on my father's side, and so it's really interesting to really dive into and to see that there were, even back then, family members or people that that are in my heritage that were fighting for their beliefs in Christianity is awesome to me, and it's really awe-inspiring, because I ask myself all the time, and I believe the answer is yes, but we actually have to ask ourselves, would I be willing to literally put my life on the line for my faith? Because there's people that are doing that even now, and here that's part of my family heritage, part of my family history, which is awesome to me, and I want to learn more about my family history. I really want to learn more about my mom's side. I'm not really computer savvy, but I know that there's ways to hunt a lot of that down. So I can't wait to see how it all comes together. My dad, I believe, is still doing research on his family, and there are other family members of his that have done some history digging into it as well. So I can't wait to see how it all transpires and get my hands on some of the physical copies so I can actually know more about the heritage that I have. And then I have a few others. They're all scripture. I have Jessica and I actually have matching tattoos on our rib. It is the marriage. It's the marriage scripture out of Mark, and it has our anniversary date on it and stuff like that. So I do have tattoos. I hope that don't make anybody mad, but I do have some ink decoration. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Pastor Rob, for sitting down with us and
No problem.
answering questions. Hopefully, we were able to learn a little bit more about you. And,
I hope so. I hope so. And if there's any other questions, feel free. I'm an open book, and I can't wait to continue to get to know the congregation and what makes people, tick and what they're excited about. We'll probably do some more stuff like this, and I got some great ideas because I do have a background in broadcasting. I graduated from what was the Ohio Center for Broadcasting, so stuff like this is really exciting to me, and I hope I answered some of the questions the way that they wanted. And like I said, I'm an open book. If they, and I just can't wait to see what God's going to do for us here at Tree of Life. I know that He's got great things planned for us. So, and thank you, Rob, because I know that your comfort zone isn't in front of the camera. So thank you for being the host of this, and be ready to do more. I'm sure you did a great job, and thank you for doing this and sitting down with me. And it's like Rob and Rob Connection. We should start our own TV show or something like that. But you did a great job, and I appreciate everything that you do here. And you're one of the unsung heroes in the church. We have so many of them that if it wasn't for you, the sound would be, off. And to watch the soundboard do what it does. I've ran sound, so I know it's a thankless job, and I want to thank you for everything that you do, and I can't wait to see what God has in store for us. So thank you. You did a great job.
Thank you. And thank you to the viewers that are watching. As Pastor Rob said, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. And we may even do if there's enough interest, we may do a Facebook Live version of one of these.
Absolutely.
So we'll just have to wait and see. So stay tuned. And
well, I got to end it the way I end the service.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah, sure.
Go with God, and God will go with you. We love you so very much. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you for the questions. They were very interesting, and we hope to see you on Sunday, 10 in the morning. Men's prayer starts at 10 minutes till 10.
Yep.
And also, don't forget about Wednesday night Bible studies at 7 p.m. We hope to see everybody there. We love you very much. God bless.